Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I am thankful you're here. Today is going to be not a long-term review, but it's going to be kind of like a weekend's first impressions. The only reason I wanted to put this video out is because I know there's some of these available. I just did an unboxing last week, and I spent a lot of time with this shed knife. Um, and I'll leave their link in the website because they've got some on their site. Tell you what I've done in the meantime. But it's Shed Knives, made with pride in the USA in Delaware. But this is the Shed Knives Skur. I picked this up off a NAF sale after meeting these guys over at Blaze Show. They started selling their knives on NAF sale. They're the seller, Shed Knives, and they also sell them on their website. So I went to their website after getting this knife in last week, and I picked up another set of scales. So I'm going to be probably tomorrow when these come in, I'll do an unboxing and a scale swap. I got some black G10 scales. Not that I don't like the day glow yellow. I think it'll make it easy to find the knife. I just wanted to have something to switch it up, and I think they were only like 20 bucks. But I really wanted to give you guys some feedback, first impressions on this knife. For one, it is an absolute tank. I've got a lot of small fixed blades, guys. You think you know that about me. I fell in the rabbit hole, gosh, what was it, about 6 months ago? Um, and I like small fixed blades. I have yet to experience a small fixed blades that has as much guts and thonk and heft as this little knife does. But even that, it's been beaten on wood. It's not as sharp as it was when it came in, but again, that belly lets it roll out of the cut by design, but it's still paper slice and sharp. And I think when you see how thick the knife is, that'll even become more impressive. It's 154 cm, compound hollow grind here. So you've got this flat over about a third of the knife, maybe 3/4 of the knife. And then you've got this deep hollow here down to the edge. Very thick behind the edge, but a little bruiser. Like I said, if you're out on a campsite and you need to break down some kindling and all you've got is something to baton, this is your knife. Again, this is one of the smaller shed knives. There are better knives set out for that, but this little knife could definitely get it done. I have hacked trees with it. I have hacked bamboo with it in the backyard. I have stuck it in different things just to see how that point was. I've got some pictures that'll be on Instagram of this thing sticking in a tree. You know me, I don't do edits, so I don't have any quote unquote action shots. But I can tell you, had it not been for Wicked Clean, this thing looked like it had been through the ringer. Anyways, if the cat keeps disagreeing, I'll let her out. I'll tell y'all to hold on for one sec. Sorry about that, guys. When the cat gets to whining, I get to letting it out. So, anyways, I wanted to give you guys not only my first impressions, but what I feel like. I can't imagine my long term impressions changing too much. I wanted to talk about a couple of things I've done. One of those I talked to you about. I've upgraded the scales. I've got another set of G10 black scales. They look more like micarta to me on the site, but they are, I'm told, G10. Um, this knife, the way that you've got this stone wash finish, and then you can see this belt satin or this hand satin grind down here, looks to me very, very sick. Um, SK Shed Knives 23 is a year. I'm guessing that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's what the SK and the 23's for. The jimping on the top of this knife is absolutely delightful. It's not going to be too sharp to cut into your finger, and it will not let you slip off of it. It's very aggressive jimping. It would be great with a glove, but it's great in my bare hand, just as this knife is in terms of being comfortable. Is it big and a little bit heavy? Yes. But does it create hot spots or problems in my hand for when I'm just really tweaking down on it or going to use it? It doesn't. This pommel, I'm not a glass breaker guy, and this is basically a lanyard attachment. And I could see how a lanyard, a short lanyard, might be nice on this knife to help get it out of the sheath. Um, but it's also part of this blade stock. So it's very good for hammering. It would be good for um, detracting. You know, if you were in a Slurpee saver situation and you were maybe going like this and like that, I don't know. It's just very, very ample. I would say it would be great for striking a ferro rod, but I think you can get that up here on the spine as well. Just a really cool little, I think in the unboxing, I called it crude. I don't think crude's the right word. I think massive was really the word I was looking for. I mean, it's not, and we'll look at some comparisons here when we get some size comparisons, and you'll see what I mean. But feels great. I did take off. They had a really nice belt loop on this sheath. I took it off because I kind of fancy an ulti clip, and I've got this ulti clip set, pretty deep carry. I like the way it rides because the way this knife goes in and out of the sheath, you kind of rock it in and it locks. I mean, it locks, guys. And when you see how heavy this knife actually is, I think that'll become more impressive. But it doesn't have much of a thumb push. So you just kind of give it a little thumb push and rotate it out. And that ulti clip, I just keep it in my pocket. I carry this as a primary carry. I don't carry this in my left-handed pocket like my chickadee when I carry it, because this knife, just in all frankness, deserves to be a primary carry. Um, Super beefy. Let's do a couple of quick size comparisons, then we'll get some measurements and we'll get a weight. Let's first look at it next to a couple of folders. That's the Benchmade bug out. So it's about the same size in length as the Benchmade bug out. The reason I wanted to break out the Cold Steel Formax is not to show you how much smaller it is than the Cold Steel Formax, but to show you, in fact, how much beefier it is than the Cold Steel Formax. So this knife might be half the size of the Cold Steel Formax, but it is much chunkier of a blade. Put it this way, I would much rather be whacked with this than this. That's just me. Maybe it's because I'm not a blunt force kind of guy. But anyways, fantastic knife. So carrying on the everyday, do I see this being something that's easy to carry on the everyday? It's not easy because it's a little bit bigger, but it's comfortable and it's very manageable. So depending on what your daily tasks are, mine is more of an urban EDC. So I'm going to be more likely more often to probably carry my chickadee to get my daily tasks done. But I can tell you, this will rip into a package. I can get a pinch grip on it. Utility cuts are great with this thing. Plus, I can feather stick, I can chop down trees, or I can use it as a mini maul and baton it through, and that's MAUL, but baton it through wood to get my fire ready. So let's look at a couple of knives that you guys are probably familiar with. One would be kind of my first EDC knife, that is the SE, or the SE3. So you can see that the shed knife Skur is going to be smaller than the SE3. Let's look at the Bradford Guardian 3. And you'll see that it's going to come up just a little bit shorter than the Skur. So really the Skur kind of splits the difference between the SE and the Bradford. Get a couple of smaller knives. Let's look at it next to my J-Cal. And to do that, I'm going to flip the Skur around so I can get a look at this killer grind. Just makes me happy every time I look at it. But the Jason Grant J-Cal is going to be about an inch shorter. And then the Tops Bull Trout, another one of my little fixed blades, is also going to be about an inch shorter. So guys, that kind of shows you where the Skur falls into the size range of some of my regular EDC. So if we get into my little, what I would call my micros, or the ones that, I carry to supplement my primary carry, more of as a box cutter or anything else than just a bruiser. But yeah, the Skur is a small knife, but its heft more than makes up for its size. So first thing we will do is we will get the Javon promotional tape measure that cost me nothing except a sticker. And we will learn that the Skur from the tip to the very end of this lanyard loop, hook loop slash pommel, is right at 7¼ inches. So guys, the blade is going to come in right at 3 inches. The handle is going to come in right at 4 inches. Where my hand naturally goes is right where this finger choil is, right in front of that sharpening choil. So if I measure from that finger, you're 3½ inches from here to here. So I think regardless of if you have a much bigger hand size than me, I've got a medium large size hand. I would think with the way this pommel shaped, even if you're back here on the knife, but you're fully gripped because your finger's up along that choil, you've still got great purchase of the knife. And where it really gets impressive is when we break out Grateful Panic's calipers and we see how thick this is, the blade stock. 0.2190, 0.2190. Go up here to the tip. About 0.0645. I'll go above the sharpening bevel. 0.0520. Guys, in the handle with the G10 scales is 0.79. And that height coming in about 113 midway. So just an absolute little tank of a knife that, had I not gone to Blade Show and bumped into these guys, I would not have known what I was looking at when I saw this on NAF sale. And again, I'm going to put a link to their website. 8.55 ounces, the knife in the Kydex sheath with an ulti-clip, 10.75 ounces. So guys, if any of you are looking for a USA made in Delaware, little 154 cm bruiser of a fixed blade in many different shapes. This is the Skur. They've got a US Tanto. They've got a bruiser, I think, which is the one I'm looking to get next. It's got kind of a drop blade, super cool. But they've got bigger knives. They've got smaller knives. They don't have, it's not overwhelming. They've probably got about 9, 10 models. But the Skur's the one that drew my attention. The Skurs are still available with a couple of other models on NAF sale and on their site. This little guy cost me 120 bucks plus shipping, if I'm not mistaken. But I was amazed at the price when I met him in Atlanta. I was stoked when I got a second chance to grab one by picking it up on NAF sale. And that's one of the reasons I simply wanted to bring this video out and get it out a little earlier than I was. Not a long-term review, it's first impressions. And I can tell you my first impressions are good. I can't imagine anything happening to the knife between now and then when my long impressions are that would make me think any different, unless maybe I drop it into my foot. That might make me sour to it. But guys, love it, love it, love it. Hope you guys get a chance to check one out if it's your jam. But it is a beast. It is a bruiser of a knife. and it is a lot of fun. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. I appreciate you spending time with me in the channel on the live streams. I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button below and that bell notification icon. I thank you. Thank you for doing that. I thank you for being here. Please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Till we meet again, peace.